Step into the Incense and Whiskey sanctuary with mindfulness enthusiasts and verified whiskey lovers, Mecca and Ashley, as they discuss all the random topics they love, from mindfulness to memes. This is Ashley.
And this is Mecca.
Welcome to the Incense and Whiskey sanctuary. Hey, Mecca.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Do you know what morning it is? It's the morning of our 50th episode.
It's the morning of our 50th episode.
I feel like there should be a drum roll. I can't make a drum roll noise, but yay!
Yeah. Drum roll inserted.
50 episodes, 2 years and a month since the birth of Incense and Whiskey.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot of really fun episodes and segments. Everything from Make It Make Sense, Quick Witted Expert, Fire and Ice. We've had all kinds of...
Is it Whiskey Chronicles?
Whiskey Chronicles?
Yes.
Oh yeah, the Whiskey Chronicles. The one about you
favorites. Yeah.
setting your apartment on fire was a good one.
Wait,
well, not on fire. No, you left the heat on all night. Something was on all night.
Oh yes, I told that story.
Yes, the
Whiskey
storytelling.
Chronicles, Fire and Ice.
Yeah.
And Make It Make Sense are probably my favorites.
Yeah, those are always fun. And we've done some like really cool exploration of wellness practices, right? Culinary Reiki, the family constellation exercise earlier in the year, breath work. What is ASMR really?
Yeah, we've done all those things. We've done meditation. We've done sound meditation.
Yeah.
Aromatherapy, which I thought was pretty cool. Just like really simple examples of self-care and what that means outside of the physical aspects of self-care.
Yeah.
We've learned how to make great cocktails.
Yeah. Some tasty cocktails for sure. So tell me, if looking back at all of that, and it's a lot, what are your highlights from, if you were to say like top 2 highlights from the past 50 episodes of Incense and Whiskey?
I don't know if I really have highlights. They're more like what I enjoy talking about and what I feel like came full circle.
Okay.
So I would say some of the things that came full circles. Of course, when we started, we were in the midst of COVID, so everything was like on lockdown. And now here we are 2 years later, and it's finally like one of those things where everyone's kind of coming out. We're still COVID, a COVID inflicted country, but are like outside again. So I feel like that's a great full circle moment. I can remember us talking about breath work in our first couple of episodes, and I was like, oh, okay, I like it. It sounds okay. But then from there, I would say I've probably leaned into that modality a little bit more than I originally thought that I would. With like understanding it, practicing it, and then like, even up until like this summer, I'll attend a breath work energy retreat that I'm really excited about that I want to add to my practice. So I feel like there's a lot of full circle moments that I'm really proud of, and I'm proud to see I've done. I think some of the things that I feel that was pretty cool would be, I can remember one episode, I think it might have been episode 14, where I like was like, oh, I'm gonna play my sound bowls. I was so excited about it.
Yeah.
I played it. And then, fast forward, I was in DC then. Fast forward, I moved to Chicago. I opened up a sound meditation studio, which I absolutely love. And it's more than just bowls. It's, my love of the gong and chimes and drumming. And then like now, like every Thursday, I've been taking these drumming classes that I absolutely love. So it's really like progressed from the beginning stages of just sharing it with this podcast and this audience to now like sharing it more on a larger spectrum as something that was once just a personal thing for me. So being able to like share it and then make a business out of it, which has been um, a full circle moment for me.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, quite a few highlights. I mean, I would think about the things that made me laugh. Even when I look at just the titles, it would be when we did a lot of the Whiskey Chronicles with,
Hmm.
what would be P Diddy and Anderson Cooper's party, or I think there was one where you started off where you were on an island, and you had some friends, and then I can't.
Oh, the time I almost got kidnapped in
Yeah, yeah, kidnapped.
South
Exactly. I thought
America.
those were pretty cool. We've had some really great guests too. Like we've had, someone to come on with aromatherapy, Aaron with, self-care and what that actually means like in the tech business world, and then candles, learning about womb steaming with Jaguar. That was probably one of my favorite episodes. It was really long, but it was a favorite. Um, yeah, I'm sure that more will probably come up, but that's like there was no like two, like, these are the two things that I really love. It was like
Yeah,
full circle moments that felt really good.
yeah.
Um,
All of
yeah.
that makes sense. I had a good chuckle last night reflecting on the things that made me laugh the most. And so I must say, going to back to the breath work, if we were to replay the episode back, I feel like I remember you saying something like, Ashley, so if I'm in pain, I'm just supposed to breathe through it and that's gonna make it go away.
Is
And
that what
I was like,
I probably did something crazy like that. And you know what? And I still don't know if I believe, I'm going to say, I still don't think that I've felt um, physical ailments go away with breath work. But what I have experienced is like, just like meditation, it has the ability of putting yourself in a trance and like creating this altered state of who you are for a
yeah,
very short amount of time. So that is the for me, that's the biggest takeaway from it. It's another modality that I can use to like, enhance the way I view myself, the way I view the world. So it's like that's kind of how I see it. But I mean, I do hear people say that, oh, my wrist was hurting and now it's not. But I mean, I do believe that can happen because in the sound meditation studios, how many times do I hear someone come in, talk about their back, they had a headache, or they were feeling uneasy, and then they feel like 100% better. And some
yeah.
of it is, we can heal ourselves. We are our own healers. I guess that's actually what breath work can teach you. You can be your own healer.
Yeah, absolutely believe in that and agree with that as well. Another something that made me chuckle was when we did our favorite memes and we talked about Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Oh, and nobody does anyone use it now?
I don't think so. It was definitely had its
It
moment
was
and
like,
it
and I put that
passed.
on Mary Little Lamb. And I was like, first of all, Mary did not have a little lamb. What the fuck is going on with this? It was like we were just like making up stuff. And now what do we use? Is there something that people use now? I
No,
don't.
I think now it's like it's the fill in the blank for me. Like it's
Oh
incense
yeah,
and whiskey for me.
it's the smile for me. Oh God, whatever. Don't. I'm making these face. I think it's funny, or that part.
That will
Yeah,
always give me joy. I will always go back and listen to that one. It will
yeah,
always give
that
me joy.
was funny. Yes, yes. Putting
My
things on.
favorite was our first episode of Fire and Ice. I don't know what combinations I put together for you, but your reactions and responses were the best. I think the historical figures edition also was
Oh,
a highlight.
that was, girl. I still say to this day, you should make you a card game. You have to. You got to make a
Perhaps I will. I'm copywriting it, y'all. Don't try to take
You
my
have to
idea.
make you a conversational card game because Fire and Ice really gets you to thinking. It really like opens up your creativity buds and just it opens up your imagination. So yeah, I like that one. That was
Yeah.
that was one of my favorite ones.
Yeah. I also really enjoyed the brief series we did on like astro yoga because it was like the most random, not random, but felt random foreign concept to me. So that was fun. And again, culinary Reiki is always going to be like a good go-to. And I don't know if I told anybody, but Mecca did actually make some dishes for me using that like that process. So that was really
Yeah.
nice also setting the intention, sharing the intention with Mecca and having her prepare
Did I
it.
see a video of that?
No, we should
Oh, I
check that
didn't.
out for sure. Those are some really like we've had so many, you're right, a lot of great guests, great laughter when we had Brandon on the episode to talk about like
Oh,
Black
yeah.
TV and the
That one
renaissance
was
of Black
so funny.
TV.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite episodes too. He was hilarious. And you know I love talking about sitcoms.
And also when we had our episode about vajacials and that wild story.
Oh, yes. Well, you're like is she your
The
esthetician
esthetician, yeah.
on here? And she talked about, and I had never heard about facials. And all of a sudden, like now, I actually see that.
Oh,
I
you see
I
like
see it on
vajacials
people's
advertised?
menus. Yeah, I've seen it on a couple of estheticians' menus. I
Yeah.
thought, did she coin that word or what?
I think it was already like in the
Oh,
ether, like it
okay.
was already out there.
Okay,
But
okay.
she was the only person that I knew that was doing them in the city. So
Okay, okay.
yeah, wild stories.
That was yeah. What about the spring cleaning one when you we had Keisha on here?
Oh
She
yeah. And we talked about green beauty, clean organic lifestyle, and how much toxins really are targeted toward the Black community or in just like everything that we touch. Um, that was really eye-opening. That was also a favorite of mine, a really strong episode.
that one was key because it did kind of like open my eyes up to like I was already kind of going to a holistic, and I think we talked about this on here, a holistic route with like my own personal care with like toothpaste and deodorant and
Yeah,
all the things, but then to bring that into your home makes even more sense.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
What about your astrology series? Do you feel
That
like
one was like the most like I learned the most with the
I think
astrology series. Yeah, I felt like I didn't know very much about astrology and it helped me kind of like, or I mean, I still don't know enough to be an expert in all conversations,
but
but
not an expert, but like to use it in your like day to day?
oh yeah, to use it in my day to day and like to think about what part of the moon phase I'm in right now and how that's affecting me for sure. For sure. That's been helpful. I think I've incorporated more of the incense in my life than I thought I would at the beginning of this
You thought, okay, that's
process.
nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
A good 80% whiskey, 20% incense. And I want to say
That's not a balance, Ashley, but I get
it's
it.
not a good balance, but I would say I'm closer to 50-50 now. I don't know if I'm exactly 50-50, but I think I'm closer to
Yeah, I
50-50.
mean, you got to do what works for you. And I don't know if, and then when we say incense, it's one of those things that there are certain things that you probably do that you don't consider, or people in general, not just you, consider like that's actually holistic or ritual. And it's so funny. People do we do some of the same things over and over again in our certain way at a certain time,
Yeah.
and we may not consider it our quote unquote ritual, but it's something that makes you feel good and you've become accustomed to doing it. um you know you've come accustomed to adding this part into your life, so yeah, that's pretty interesting.
It is interesting. Um,
What was it?
yeah. Some really good,
Understanding what? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, just like really good learning moments, some good books that we've shared. Um, talking about like wellness, the one that you shared most recently. Um, what was the title of it? It
Oh,
was like
younger by next year.
Younger by Next Year.
I have like 5 copies of that. Anybody that like asks me about that, I always give them a copy.
I want a copy if you have any sitting
Yeah, I
around.
have yeah, I'll give you a copy.
I'll
It actually
definitely,
is really, I think it's a really good book. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's like the be all to end all. There's so many good books out there, but it's
yeah,
really simple and it's like, yeah, it's just confirmation of things that you know, or like, oh, I didn't know that. So I think that's
yeah,
cool. Oh,
yeah.
you know what else I was thinking about? We did this one like time versus energy management.
Oh yeah.
That one was, and I still pull from that on a regular basis with just making decisions like what deserves my time, what deserves my.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's really good. And do you feel like that's been a useful framework for
Yeah, absolutely. It has
that's
been.
really good.
So that's been fun. I mean, so much has happened, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's been a really amazing experience.
in these last 2 years, from the time that we started to where we are right now.
What has happened to me in the last two
Like,
years?
what are some things that
Oh,
have like what kind of life events? And if you want
transparent,
to share,
transpire. Yeah. So I believe when we started, it was May 2020, correct?
yep.
It was May 2020. Okay. I ended a job that was not I like said goodbye to a job that was not serving me. I had a baby. I
Mhm.
um I had a baby. I think that was
That's a
the
big.
biggest thing.
I mean, yes, you left a position. You brought a whole
Yes.
new beautiful life into the world.
Yes. I got a new gig.
Yeah.
We said goodbye to a toxic president. That happened.
Oh, yeah.
We did. We
Yes.
did. I think that impacted I don't know if anybody else feels like this, but I feel like that impacted my mental space. Not, I wasn't as scared in the world. I mean,
I
there's still a lot
no,
to
you're
be scared
right.
about.
Yeah. And I don't think I ever been scared. I remember the day I still, and I think we talked about this on the show. I can remember the day that it was in 2016, right?
Yeah.
I know that feeling of like feeling scared. Like
Yeah.
not like scared like, oh, I'm afraid to go out the door. It's just like this feeling of like uncertainty. I mean, of course you can always create your own like ecosystem and, you don't no one needs to live in fear, but it was like this little like background noise of a slight fear.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
I think in general, I've been able to, and thanks to your inspiration, Mecca, I've been able to incorporate just more creative thinking in my life since we started this journey together. And that has been amazing. And to have moments to pause and to tap into that and to, find ways to engage in more creative thinking and doing has been amazing, has been like life changing for me. So,
Oh,
uh,
that's nice to hear.
yeah, I don't know what 2 years, what happened. And I mean, a lot happened, Mecca. Like you have launched a whole business in the meditation space that like, if anyone hasn't gone to Elevated and done a meditation with Mecca, you must do it. Absolutely.
What has happened? I moved. I moved. I mean, that's not really a big deal, I guess, but I moved from DC back to Chicago. I also, you know, I'm going outside more.
Mecca's in the streets, on the
I
plains.
mean, I would be in the house, and it was fine. Like I think I even said I was like, "Girl, I'm okay with this."
I
Hopefully,
was too. I think we both were. We were like, this
and
is fine.
I mean, if the quarantine happened every other month, actually, then I would be okay with that. I was
Like
if there
six
was a
months in
list that
quarantine.
said, "Do you want to sign up for quarantine every other month?" I would sign up. I would just show up.
You could like create that for yourself.
I know. Right now. I've only created it for a week. So I've kind of created. I'm creating my. Well, I'm trying to. I did it for the first time this month, but being able to have 1 week off each month in my business, and
Okay.
because yes, like Ashley said, I did open up a meditation studio, but it's more than just me playing, performing with these instruments because I'm like facilitating sound, but then my energy is just also being used to help facilitate. So it can
Yeah.
be a bit draining. So I really was like being intentional with trying to give myself that space. So I was just like, all right, what can I do to have 7 consecutive days that I pull everything back into myself? Not that I want to work, to the bone for 3 weeks, 7 days
Yeah.
straight, but just giving myself that time. And it may not always be 7 days, but I want to be able to give myself that space. Because I think once you start, when you work for yourself, and not just like an online business, but a brick and mortar where you're actually seeing people,
Yeah.
have this mindset that you need to always be open. You need to always be around. At least I had that. Because it was more than just a business, but I felt like I opened it in a sense of like, yo, we need some quiet time in our mind because
Yeah.
a lot of stuff happening and that's still happening. If we don't get any stillness, you just going boom, 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 boom. A it's like the internet. It's like your mind is the internet with all these tabs open, and
Yeah.
you just need one tab open or power down. And we're
Yeah.
just not powering down. So I kind of felt that was the need for it. Um, oh, I don't know how I got on the subject, but yeah, creating that space for myself. What else has happened? I have, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I've definitely have embraced, yes, going outside and being open to other modalities to create this space for myself for just introspective and that I really love. I think what else has happened? I've taken up Pilates. I really like Pilates.
Yay!
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I gotta find out what's going on with the studio I was going to. But I had a regimen of every Wednesday and Friday morning. And so this morning I was like looking for the class. I couldn't find it, but I like the way I feel after it. I feel like it definitely stretches me. I feel like that once I get to like a comfortable like a goal where I don't need to like work out 4 times or 5 times a week, like I want Pilates to be like my, my lifelong
Yeah.
resting. I'm gonna say resting activity. Because this, I mean, you are moving your body, don't get me wrong, and I am sweating, but I want that to be like long term.
Oh yeah, it's definitely something you can
I
do.
just want to like be a participant. I like it.
That
And
brings me joy.
and you inspired me to do that. I do appreciate that.
That's a lifelong exercise regimen for you, for
Yeah,
sure.
I agree. It is. Yeah.
Well, Mecca, I gotta take a look back to how we started this. I remember it this way. I remember we would be out and about in the streets pre-COVID and we would chat it up and we would have what I would call the most interesting conversations. And I feel like we would get caught up talking for like way longer than we ever anticipated. And I remember I would say like, we should just record ourselves and make this a podcast. Because I remember feeling so full and just like happy after every time I saw you and we chatted.
Oh,
And Mecca was the one that put this together, y'all, and said, let's do this. And so I have to say, thank you so much for creating this with me. And we've really built a beautiful, beautiful space in Incense and Whiskey in the sanctuary.
in the sanctuary. No, I love it. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty accurate. I remember saying, and it's one of those things that I definitely wanted to have. I wanted to have a podcast. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to talk about. I kind of figured I would just be talking about like whatever it is that I wanted, my opinion, Mecca's opinion.
Yeah.
But then our commentary and our back and forth and how we saw whatever, pop news, politics, whatever, it all was like a really great conversation. So I remember COVID happened and I was in DC in the basement and, and I was like, I'm about to order a microphone and blah, blah,
Yes.
blah. And then you called me.
Yeah, I remember.
You called and I was like, guess what I just did? And he was like, what? I was like, I ordered a microphone. And you was like, okay. And I was like, I want to start this podcast. And you was like, wait, I don't know. Let's do
I'm
it.
gonna order it too.
So we just started recording. We just started recording, um, and just kind of like putting little pieces together. And I have appreciated this process. I think that it's been a really great partnership in being like yin and yang. I think that's the best way for me to describe it. Um, with the synergy of our conversations and with the podcast. I mean, because yes, we do this podcast, but this could actually just be a phone call too. Like
That's true.
this is typically how our phone call conversations will go. Um, so yeah, I've really appreciated it, and it's been fun. I've had a lot of fun.
I've had a lot of
I
fun
hope
too.
that people have learned something. I hope that people have start questioning and wanting to know a little bit more about a topic, or I don't know. We just hope that we sprinkled a little stardust into.
Stardust. I love that. Yeah. Well, it's 50 episodes and it's so hard to say goodbye, but it's time to say goodbye to this phase of Incense and Whiskey, the podcast. And
It's
who
so
knows? It's been hard. It's been hard to think about saying goodbye, but I've loved every moment with it. I loved every moment with you, Mecca, and I cannot thank you enough for helping to put this together and pushing and making it happen.
yeah. This is yeah. This is a stopping point. I think it's a stopping point, a pause, a stopping point to where we are now with Incense and Whiskey. And I'm very grateful for this experience. I don't think this is the last time you guys will ever hear from Ashley and Mecca,
Absolutely
some
not.
capacity, be it together or separate. But I don't think this is the last time. But I do. I'm glad this was started. I hope this like kind of like just like builds the platform to say, okay, I've done this one thing. Let me do another thing. Let me do another thing. It just kind of like takes you to level up, level up, level up.
Agreed.
So, yeah, it's been really fun. Yeah, I have no complaints.
Thank you, Mecca.
Until next time,
Take a sip. Have a breath. Take a sip. Until next time.
say, have a sip, take a breath.
Yes, have a sip. Take a breath.
Catch us next time on Incense and Whiskey.
In the meantime, take a breath. Have a sip.